You know, we've all got this kind of love-hate thing with social media, right? On one hand, it's amazing for connecting with people. But on the other, wow, it can feel so draining, even divisive. So today, we're going to break down exactly why that is, and more importantly, we'll explore a really powerful alternative. So let's just dive right in.
I mean, it's a question I think we all ask ourselves, right? Why is it that after scrolling through a feed of our friends, our family, we end up feeling kind of anxious or just not good enough? Is it something we're doing wrong, or is there something bigger going on here? Well, it turns out the answer is actually baked right into the system itself.
Okay, first things first, it's super important to get this. Those negative feelings you get, they are not an accident. Nope, they are the direct result of a very specific design philosophy. And we can call it the engagement trap.
See, the main goal of these big platforms, it's not really to connect you with your friends or to help you learn something new. No, their one and only goal is to capture your attention and hold on to it for as long as humanly possible. Why? Because your time, your clicks, you are the product they're selling to advertisers. And pretty much every single feature is built and fine-tuned for that one purpose.
And this relentless, single-minded focus on engagement, it comes at a cost, a really steep one. It's this hidden psychological price we're all paying. We think these platforms are free, but we're actually paying with our own mental well-being. So let's break down exactly how that happens.
Think about it. Every single time you scroll, you're just hit with this endless stream of the absolute best, most polished, most filtered moments from hundreds of other people's lives. It's just a constant barrage of what looks like perfection. And our brains, well, they can't help it. We naturally start comparing our own messy, real, behind-the-scenes lives to these perfect digital highlight reels. And that comparison, day in and day out, it can be absolutely brutal on our self-esteem.
So, what's the trick? How do they keep us hooked, constantly coming back for more? Well, honestly, these platforms are designed just like digital slot machines. Seriously, you pull the lever, by refreshing your feed, and maybe you get a reward. A like, a new comment, or maybe you get nothing at all. It's that randomness, that maybe, that triggers a dopamine hit in your brain. That's the same chemical that's involved in gambling and addiction. It creates this powerful compulsive loop, and it feeds that nagging fear of missing out, what we all call FOMO.
And the result of all this? It's not just some vague feeling of being off or a little down. No, the research is pretty clear. This design is directly linked to real-world issues, increased anxiety, something called digital performance anxiety, and even body dysmorphia. And the biggest irony of all, these platforms, which are supposedly designed to connect us, they can actually lead to these really profound feelings of loneliness and social isolation.
Okay, but the impact here goes way beyond just our own individual mental health. We need to zoom out a bit, because the business model that's driving all this engagement, well, it has absolutely massive consequences for our privacy and honestly for society as a whole.
And here's the name for the engine that runs this whole machine: surveillance capitalism. It's a pretty intense term, but it's accurate. This is a model where the real product isn't the social network. The real product is a prediction of your future behavior, a prediction that's built from the massive data trail you leave behind and then sold off to the highest bidder.
And it's basically a four-step process. It's kind of simple and kind of terrifying. Step 1, you just use the platform. Every click, every scroll, even how long you pause on a picture, it's all tracked. Step 2, all that activity is harvested and analyzed. Then step 3, they use it to build this incredibly detailed psychological profile of you. We're talking your hopes, your fears, your insecurities. And finally, step 4, that profile is sold. Advertisers buy it and use it to manipulate your actions, what you buy, what you think, and yeah, even how you vote.
Now, when you scale this up to a whole society, the consequences are just staggering. These algorithms, they're designed to keep you engaged, right? So they show you more and more of what you already agree with. This traps us in what people call filter bubbles. And what gets the most clicks? Outrageous stuff, misinformation. So that stuff spreads way faster than the actual truth. All of this just pours gasoline on the fire, polarization and radicalization, and it makes it feel almost impossible for us to have a shared sense of reality anymore.
But let's be really, really clear about something. The problem here isn't the network. The ability to connect with people online is amazing. The technology itself is neutral. The problem is the business model. This whole system built on surveillance and engagement at any cost. So, what if there was a totally different way to do it?
Well, turns out There is. And it's a completely new blueprint for our digital lives. It's called Social Networks as a Service, or SNAS for short. In this model, it completely flips the script. It shifts the entire foundation of how a community can exist and thrive online.
And this comparison really lays it all out. Look at the mainstream model. The goal is to maximize your engagement. But in the SNAS model, the goal is to serve the community's mission. Mainstream model, the platform owns your data. SNAS model, the community owns its data. And accountability, in the old way, it's to advertisers. In the new way, it's to the members themselves. It boils down to this: you finally become the customer, not the product.
Okay, so how does this new model actually solve all those problems we just spent time talking about? Well, it's pretty simple, really. It gives communities the power to build their own digital spaces with their own rules.
So, let's look at the direct solutions this offers. Instead of surveillance capitalism, you get data sovereignty. The community owns its own data, period. Instead of that messy, inconsistent moderation from some giant faceless corporation, you get customized governance. The community decides its own rules. And instead of chasing superficial connections and likes, the whole focus shifts to deeper, purpose-driven engagement. At the end of the day, it's a fundamental shift from a platform you just kind of exist on to a digital home that you truly own.
And all of this leaves us with one last, really powerful question to think about. Just imagine it for a second. Whether it's for your professional organization, your hobby group, your neighborhood, even a classroom, what could your community achieve if it had its very own digital space? A space that's designed not to exploit you, but to actually serve your mission and your members. The possibilities there, they're pretty exciting to think about.